Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, the new home of power mining analysis. Well, here we have it. Bitcoin is making another run at $66,000, currently trading hands just north of 65,700, having a big impact on the mining stocks with a number of stocks already up double-digit percentages on Friday's trading session. A lot to talk about in today's video, but before we do, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. Big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. Anthony and I are on our way to Nashville next week. Our goal is 45,000 subscribers. Before we get there, we'd really appreciate the support. And let us know in the comment section below if you think Bitcoin is finally ready to take new all-time highs, which miners you're holding in your own portfolio, and your forecast or outlook for the back half of the year. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay, guys, that's right. Friday morning, only one weekend before Bitcoin Nashville takes place. And what a start to the trading session we've had here, Anthony. Bitcoin is now over 65,000, currently trading hands for $65,633. And this is having a big impact on the mining stocks, which were really a bloodbath yesterday. One of my biggest individual loss days in my portfolio since I've been investing, but starting to recover a little bit today, Anthony. We're starting to see, as you say, some shoots of green. We're going to talk about the companies specifically here in a second, but do you think this move in Bitcoin has anything to do with the upcoming convention or conference next week and those comments we've started to hear from Trump, Anthony?
Probably adds to it, but there's a whole raft of news or updates that we see regularly, like the ETFs constantly buying, adoption around the world. But I would imagine that the statement that came out yesterday saying that if Trump's successful, he's going to look at using Bitcoin as the reserve currency for the US, and that's an interesting point to highlight. But it's not. I mean, people say, "Well, wait till you hear him say it, and wait till, if he wins the election." So there's a couple of variables to get through before that's decided. But Bitcoin just does what Bitcoin does. We see the big gains recently, and yesterday was a reverse of that. Bitcoin was down, 1% to 2%, but the mining stocks, it was a bloodbath yesterday. It was probably one of my worst days for this year. There are a few worse days in 2022, I think, looking back over that period when the Bitcoin price was hovering around $15 million. But Bitcoin does what it does today. We've seen a reverse trend today. Hive Digital doing quite well today, up over 10% in early trading. So
yeah, I'll bring a visual up here in a second showing the companies. Now, Anthony, you mentioned the ETF inflows. We've got another chart here from HODL 15 Capital. So this is where we get all of our ETF information. Anthony, last Friday, we had a $310 million inflow. We talked about that on the channel. That was followed up, obviously, by the attempted shooting incident on the weekend at the Trump rally. Bitcoin had $301 million of inflows just in the United States that Monday. Then following that on the Tuesday, you'll see $422 million worth of inflows, Anthony. But since then, on the 17th and 18th, so Wednesday, Thursday this week, really falling considerably, coming in at 53 and $37 million respectively. So a lot of that excitement or attention towards Bitcoin we saw last weekend did taper off in the back half of the week here. And I'm really anticipating, regardless of whether or not this strategic reserve currency comes to fruition, just the excitement, the anticipation, the amount of news coverage at the Bitcoin conference here, I think really can do nothing but good things for Bitcoin and obviously the Bitcoin mining companies. So speaking of the miners, Anthony, we've got another one of our mid-morning market update visuals here. As you alluded to, Hive, which is one we've talked about quite extensively on the channel in terms of their undervalued appearance of their exahash compared to some of their higher valued peers, seems to be playing some catch up, Anthony, up in excess of 10% last time I looked. What's your take on the miners this morning?
Yeah, just a little bit of recovery from yesterday. I mean, they're still not anywhere near the levels we were yesterday, but the mining stocks are doing what the mining stocks do. They're volatile, just like Bitcoin is, but they're even more volatile. So when we look at Bitcoin, we can see changes of 2 to 3% a day. Look at mining stocks, we can see changes of between 8-15% on a daily basis without even a blink. And today we've seen, more than half the mining stocks are in the green. There's a few still in the red. So interestingly, Argo, Blockchain, Core Scientific's down a little bit. Gryphon Mining's down today as well a little bit. But we see a roller coaster of changes even in one trading session. So it's very hard to pick prices. But as I say, I don't tend to focus too much on a day to day. Look at the fundamentals of these companies coming through. Look at the updates. We're going to see a lot of quarterly updates coming out from August for the second quarter of the calendar year. So that's April through to the end of June. And at the same time, we're seeing lots of great announcements coming out in terms of miners switching some of their available power towards HPC, which is, again, it's helping their business models out, because the HPC side of it, there's a demand for that at the moment. The miners have got infrastructure, they've got power, so they meet two of the objectives straight away. And I think we'll see a lot more miners, start to focus in this current period on HPC, because the margins are really, really good.
Hey, Anthony, you talk about earnings calls coming out here in the next few weeks. So just a quick heads up, you guys, we've reached out to each and every one of the miners to start scheduling those in. We've already scheduled 3 of the earnings calls when we get back from Nashville. So that's going to be really exciting, Anthony. As you say, we're expecting a lot of red here. So we'll see if any of these miners can buck the trend. And then next week, Tuesday, your birthday, Anthony, we've actually got Sebastian on the channel as well to give us his 2 cents on the industry before we head down to Nashville. So we're going to be doing a full Sebastian analysis episode. And then when we get back, Anthony, this will be really fun. Freedom by 40 is actually coming down to Nashville to meet up with us there. So we're going to have him back on the channel, get all of his charts updated. We've figured out a way he can actually control the cursor this time, which will be nice. And we can talk about our Nashville experience and go through all these minor charts. So that's going to be Tuesday, Sebastian next week. And then the following Wednesday, I think it's the 31st of July, that'll be with Freedom by 40 and Anthony as well. So I just wanted to do a quick plug there, Anthony, as you're talking about scheduling some of those events. Now, the other thing you mentioned is news. And I always say there's no shortage of news in the Bitcoin mining space. However, this week, there has been a lot of Bitcoin related news, which we've covered, but the miners have been abnormally quiet, Anthony. Almost to the point it's a bit of a head scratcher. Now, my personal opinion is they're all in their office working on HPC, AI deals, megawatts, PPAs, whatever they can get their hands on. Do you think this is just kind of a lull in the news cycle, or why do you think it's been so abnormally quiet this week?
Well, what you've highlighted one thing that could be a reason, and we've got Bitcoin Nashville coming up next week, so you'll see a lot of these mining companies represented down there. They'll be taking a lot of their senior staff down there. Quite a few of the C-suite executives and senior managers of these companies are on the panels, and we're fortunate to be moderating a couple of panels with some really great people on those panels. And so I think people are just getting ready for the big. This is the biggest conference of the year, so there's a lot of Bitcoin conferences that occur around the world, but this one in Nashville, like Miami last year, this is the big one. This is the really big. I've been fortunate to attend the Amsterdam conference last year, and that was a reasonable there. But in terms of people there compared to what we expect in Nashville, it's a different ball game. And But actually, taking away, the president who's going to be speaking on day 3, a lot of the speakers who are speaking at Nashville also spoke at Amsterdam last year. So if you have these conferences in your sort of like locality, and it's always worth trying to get a ticket to go to them. I mean, they're really good. I mean, everyone, they're a fun event, and you'll get to meet people, like-minded people. You'll make new friends straight away.
Yeah, the
And it's
networking component, you guys, this is my first conference I'm going to. I've received so many emails already just for invites to go for coffee. And Anthony, you bring up a really interesting point, and actually a website enhancement we just put live this week. If you guys go to our website, powermininganalysis.com, and you go to the events tab, you can actually see all of the worldwide Bitcoin mining or crypto related blockchain events, and you can filter it by country or province or territory, state, whatever, to see where locations around you are hosting events. So actually great timing you brought that up, Anthony, and glad we could throw that in here as well.
absolutely. I mean, I was speaking to a friend of mine who was away on a business trip in Dubai early in the year, and he was saying there was an event over there, and I saw I should have known I'd have probably booked to do it, and hopefully next year I'm going to plan in the diary a lot more events to actually visit. There's not as many events in the UK, but you see you have to be prepared to travel a little bit further. But knowing some of these other events that come up, where you have, obviously I'm very much interested in the mining space, but it was interesting. This guy in Dubai said there was like something like 60 events in the space of about a month out there in Dubai. They really are covering the Bitcoin space, and all associated, crypto type events out there. So, Dubai is probably the capital for Bitcoin in terms of running a conference. I have been to a conference in Dubai last year. I went to the AIM conference in Dubai, the AIM summit, and I met, I think 9 or 10 of the miners were represented at that conference. So I got the chance to chat with every one of the CEOs of the companies that were represented there, and had time with them, had a coffee with them, and just get to, one-to-one, find out, how things are going, and strategy and things like that. Not secret stuff, but just getting to see, when you speak to someone face to face, it's different from reading a transcript or reading a tweet. You pick up so much more information just by an expression. And so you can relate to that there. So we'll get the same in Nashville. We've already reached out to quite a few of the miners already to sort of for arranging catch-ups and various things that are occurring in Nashville. So that'll be a very, very busy, fun-filled 3 days out there. Looking
It
forward to
sure
that.
should be. And we even booked in a Grand Old Opry tour for the final day, Anthony, a 2-hour tour. So we did the JFK tour in Dallas. Now we're going to do the Grand Old Opry here. And next year, guys, we're actually planning to do one event per quarter. So you talk about Dubai, that's actually where the genesis idea for power mining analysis came from. Next year, we're going to try and do 4 different events, one per quarter, kind of each quadrant or country or wherever, to spread out and hopefully meet as many of you as possible. Speaking of that, Anthony, we continue to see membership growing for the YouTube channel itself. So we appreciate all the support there, you guys. The website has a number of new enhancements. So take a look at that as well. We've got new swag available. Things are really firing on all cylinders in perfect form and fashion for next week, Anthony. So we can leave it there, you guys. If you're still watching, smash the like button. Help us get to our goal of 45,000 subscribers. Anthony, thanks so much for your thoughts here today, and we'll see you on Monday.